Former President Donald Trump spent his first day on trial as a criminal defendant, lashing out at the judge and prosecutors, casting himself as a victim, and angrily posting on social media. Today is Monday, April 15th, 2024, and this is the Dunkley Report. Former President Donald Trump spent his first day on trial as a criminal defendant, lashing out at the judge and prosecutors, casting himself as a victim, and angrily posting on social media. After arriving at the court in New York with a phalanx of lawyers and senior aides, he steamed, "This is political persecution," and claimed the trial was an assault on our country. It was a familiar routine from Trump, but this time the stakes are far higher. The presumptive GOP nominee is now the first former president in the nation's history to stand trial on criminal charges. Former President Donald Trump spent his first day on trial as a criminal defendant, lashing out at the judge and prosecutors, casting himself as a victim, and angrily posting on social media. After arriving at the court in New York with a phalanx of lawyers and senior aides, he steamed, "This is political persecution," and claimed the trial was an assault on our country. It was a familiar routine from Trump, but this time the stakes are far higher. The presumptive GOP nominee is now the first former president in the nation's history to stand trial on criminal charges. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators have blocked freeways and bridges in Illinois, California, New York, and the Pacific Northwest, temporarily shutting down travel into Chicago O'Hare International Airport, onto the Golden Gate and Brooklyn bridges, and on a busy West Coast interstate. In Chicago, the Monday morning protest caused headaches for some travelers who left their cars to walk to the airport. Protesters linked arms and blocked traffic on lanes of Interstate 190 around 7 a.m. in a demonstration they said was part of a global economic blockade to free Palestine. Similar demonstrations blocked all traffic onto the Golden Gate Bridge and on Interstate 5 in Eugene, Oregon. The Supreme Court is allowing Idaho to enforce its ban on gender-affirming care for transgender youth, while lawsuits over the law proceed, reversing lower courts. The justice's order Monday allows the state to put in place a 2023 law that subjects physicians to up to 10 years in prison if they provide hormones, puberty blockers, or other gender-affirming care to people under age 18. Under the court's order, the two transgender teens who sued to challenge the law still will be able to obtain care. The court's 3 liberal justices would have kept the law on hold. A federal judge in Idaho had blocked the law in its entirety, saying that it was necessary to do so to protect the teens. Caitlin Clark has been selected with the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft by the Indiana Fever. The former Iowa star became a household name among basketball fans during her record-breaking college career. Now she will try and help revive the Indiana franchise along with last season's number 1 pick, Aaliyah Boston. Los Angeles took Cameron Brink 2nd and Rickea Jackson 4th. Chicago drafted Camila Cardoso 3rd and Angel Reese 7th. A movie weapons supervisor has been sentenced to 18 months in prison for the fatal shooting of a cinematographer by Alec Baldwin on the set of the Western films Rust. A New Mexico judge announced the sentence Monday against movie armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed. The judge said had it not been for the armorer's recklessness, Helena Hutchins would be alive. A tearful Gutierrez-Reed was unsuccessful in her plea for a lesser punishment. The armorer's 2-week trial and conviction was a prelude to the proceedings against Alec Baldwin, who has pleaded not guilty to a charge of involuntary manslaughter in the death of Helena Hutchins. He is scheduled for trial in July. House Speaker Mike Johnson is pushing for a vote on aid for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan this week. He has unveiled a plan to contort the package to squeeze it through the House's political divides on foreign policy. Facing an outright rebellion from conservatives fiercely opposed to aiding Ukraine, The Republican Speaker's move on the foreign aid package is the first significant progress after he mulled it over for 2 months. But his plan to hold 4 separate votes on parts of the package also leaves it open to being significantly altered from the $95 billion aid package the Senate passed in February. The stock price for Donald Trump's social media company is sliding again. Trump Media and Technology Group closed Monday down 18.4% as more euphoria fades off the stock. It's a sharp, more than 66% come down after the owner of Truth Social merged with a shell company to get its stock trading on the NASDAQ. Part of the decline may be due to criticism that the stock price simply went too high, but another part may be because of action Trump Media took Monday. The company filed documents with regulators to open the door for the future potential sale of millions of shares. Federal authorities have indicted the owners of a Colorado funeral home on criminal charges for fraudulently obtaining pandemic relief funds from the U.S. government. The husband and wife already face state charges of corpse abuse after 190 decaying bodies were discovered in their funeral home's storage building last year. The new charges Monday against John and Carrie Halford underscore their alleged lies, money laundering, forgery, and manipulation over the past 4 years that devastated grieving family members. U.S. Magistrate Judge Scott Varholak has scheduled a Thursday hearing to decide if the couple should remain in custody. The couple's attorneys say they should not be detained pending trial, but a federal prosecutor says they're a flight risk. The historic hush money trial of Donald Trump got underway Monday with the arduous process of selecting a jury to hear the case charging the former president with falsifying business records in order to stifle stories about his sex life. The day ended without any jurors being seated. The selection process resumes Tuesday. The first criminal trial of any former U.S. president began as Trump vies to reclaim the White House, creating a remarkable split-screen spectacle of the presumptive Republican nominee spending his days as a criminal defendant while simultaneously campaigning for office. Today's news has been reported by the Associated Press. This has been the World News for Monday, April 15th, 2024. Thanks again for joining us at the Dunkley Report.